Welcome then to Eurosport's coverage of this, the 81st Tour de France. In Lille, the 7.8-kilometre time trial on what is a very, very flat course indeed. And the pundits are saying it's tailor-made for Chris Boardman, the British rider, who goes right at the tail end of the field. The fastest time we get so far has been set up by Pantani. His time of 8 minutes 23 seconds. Sean Yates is riding today. He won the time trial at Vazequal a few years ago in the Tour de France. He's already finished, and Sean's time was 8 minutes and 40 seconds. So I have with me at the moment Stephen Rose, who'll be with me right the way throughout this tour. Stephen, a baking hot day today, but a fairly flat course.
It's true, Dave. It's a very, very flat course, and surprisingly enough, for the first time in a long, long time, the prologue of the Tour de France is an out and home prologue. What I mean is we go out on one side of the road and back home on the left-hand side of the road, which is very, very surprising for a Tour de France stage. Normally it's one big loop, whereas this year in Lille, because of it being a village, a town being so congested with traffic and one-way streets and everything else, they blocked off two main boulevards, and now we go down the left-hand side of it, back up the right-hand side of it. But it makes a very, very fast circuit, which should, I think, suit definitely Chris Boardman, because there's no braking on it, there's no corners, or apart from some 2 or 3 very fast corners. But it should definitely do very well for Chris Boardman.
Well, I had a look at Boardman's bike this morning and had a chat with him. He looked in fine form, and he's very happy indeed with the course. It certainly suited him. He's got one of these remarkable bikes, the Lotus bike, the elevation of the type that he used in the Olympic Games when he took the Olympic gold. So as far as Boardman's concerned, he's on the idle machine for the course, and he looked very fit indeed. He had got his handlebars well down and well tucked in a much narrower position than most of the riders. See, there's one coming down here now at the moment, Luke Rouzon, holding out there on the brakes. But when you see Chris come down, he gets right down in amongst the headset, the most flat position I've ever seen. The other rider I watched this morning testing the new bike from Lotus was Greg LeMond. He looked extremely fit this morning, probably one of the best forms I've seen him for a long time too, and he took a good place in the DuPont Tour. They had a Prologue time trial to start that one off, and Greg was in there in about either second or third place. No, sorry, fifth he was in the DuPont Prologue time trial. So in fact, he's looking forward to this one as well. So the GAN team hoping to get a good start. But Stephen, you were saying when Moreau came in, he didn't do such a good ride, 8 minutes 36 seconds, that he's had a bit of problem earlier this year.
Well, definitely when you see the bike that Francis Moreau had compared to the bike that Boardman will have, it's identical, two bikes identical. But to show you that it's not only the bike that makes you go fast, Moreau did a very bad time, but when you think that he was off his bike until 10 days ago, he's actually had an operation on a hip. He crashed in Paris-Roubaix earlier on in April, and took a chip off the bone of his hip and ended up having an operator on, and only actually got back on the bike about 10-12 days ago. So it's a fantastic achievement to be here on the start line of the Tour de France here in Lille. But on the other side again, it's going to show the way the riders themselves put so much emphasis on the Tour de France. They will do anything at all possible so they can be on the start line of the Tour de France.
Well, look at the massive crowd here in Lille as well. Sun is beating down. It's been tremendously hot. It started this morning by 27 degrees, but the sun has clouded over a little bit. We're down to around about 24 degrees centigrade, and the streets absolutely packed with people. And in fact, the whole of the town's been closed down. I walked around about a couple of hours to go, and I'd have thought that the shopkeepers were looking a little bit dismal, because every shop was shut and there's no business being done today. But that's the Tour de France. It closes down cities, and here this town of Lille is not only being used for the time trial today, but we're going to have a start tomorrow of a stage that takes the riders out in a big circuit and comes back into Lille. So they're going to see plenty of the race here in this very famous old town, which goes back for centuries. In fact, they're starting as well in the Place de General de Gaulle. De Gaulle was born in Lille, and so a lot of history in this part of the world. Well, history made today. Will Boardman take the yellow jersey? Well, we've got to wait a bit, because he's not starting back until 17:50. That, of course, is Central European time. That's at 10 to 6 over here. That's what, 10 to 5 back at home.
One thing as well, Dave, last night, is to show you how important the Tour de France is, and as you were saying yourself, that the whole town closes down. Last night I came down here, I thought, well, I'd go out and have a scoot around the Prologue circuit, just so I could get it in my mind, so I can maybe commentate on it. I couldn't even get onto the circuit. Everywhere was closed, and I tried to bribe my way through the police, trying to get in and tell them who I was and everything else, and they couldn't give a damn who I was. All they wanted to do was close the circuit off. Everything was closed to everybody. So So you can imagine like a centre, like Lille is one of the biggest towns in France, apart from Paris and Marseille and Lyon. But it's they closed two major avenues down for the Tour de France, which is going to start 24 hours later. So it's an incredible thing altogether. Well,
fortunately, I got here and had a trip round first thing yesterday morning and had a look at the course, so dead flat it was, and round the big island at the top of the course, and that one, in fact, I thought they banked it would be ideal for Boardman. That seems to be the only tricky part, except for the sort of right-hand and left-hand bands, which can be taken fairly well flat out, and so it's going to be quite a big gear course, I thought. What sort of gears were they on then, Steve, today?
I spoke to some of the riders this morning, and they're all putting on 53, 54, 12 behind. Like I say, Boardman himself possibly stick on 54, actually, versus 54, 12, because Boardman's a very, very smooth rider, and when he gets the big gear going, you can keep it going for a long time. As you were saying yourself, the only bad point on the circuit is actually a roundabout where you do actually a U-turn and come back onto the same road again. So that's really only the one part on the circuit where you must brake. As you see Van Lancker coming on the screen at the moment, Van Lancker is possibly riding his last Tour de France. He has been teammates to Jerry Knetterman and Jan Raas back in the big days of Raleigh and then Panasonic, and now he is riding with the team of Word Perfect, hoping to do well in his last Tour de France.
And Van Lancker also, I well remember, winning the English Milk Racer many years ago. I know that commentary, Stephen, is picked up in other nations beside Great Britain.
He also won the Wincanton Classic in Brighton a couple of years ago. He's a very, very good rider, an excellent team rider. That's possibly why we don't really, when we say Van Lancker, everyone says Van Hooe. Whereas Van Lancker is possibly one of the best teammates on the market at the moment. He's had about 10 years as a professional, but every race he's ridden, every Tour de France he's ridden, he's nearly always sacrificed himself for a leader who might have been Jan Raas, it might have been Knetterman, it might have been Steven Rooks, it might have been Van der Arden. He's always been one of these riders that kind of sacrifice himself for a leader.
Welcome back then to the time trial at Lille. Welcome to what has been some interesting arrivals whilst we've been off air. Bourtalami just come in at 8:27, a cracking time there, and that's put him into the lead right now above Perron, who's 8:23 still the fastest time. Bourtalami now moving up there on the leaderboard, and Sorensen has also arrived across the line 8 minutes and 31 seconds, and Phil Anderson in 8 minutes and 56. So those are the last three finishers. Bourtalami 8:27, Sorensen 8:31. Anderson 8:56. Perron still in the lead, 8:23. Davey still second, Bontempi behind him, and then Bourtalami now has moved up there behind them. So that was a useful ride as far as he's concerned. We are getting a bit quicker all the way through. The speed gathering, the sun coming back out again, and the bits of play are flying all over the place, showing you how windy it is at the moment. Fortunately, so far, none's gone into the gear wheels of the bicycles. We've had that happen before with the wind blowing plastic bags and bits into the back gears of the bikes, but 8:43.22 for Marino Alonso of the Benesto team, and that is confirmation of the little list we just gave out to you there. That's Bourtalami's time, pushed him up into fourth spot, Sorensen into fifth. So we just had two cracking finishing times, and it's getting quicker by the minute. But Perron, that's an excellent time still to hold the lead.
It is definitely an excellent time. Like it's the more we see the riders coming in, the better riders like the Phil Anderson coming in and Rolf Sorensen coming in and doing good times. I still find it very difficult to think that the best rider, whether it be Indurain, Rominger, whether it be whoever it might be who's going to win this prologue today, I find it difficult to feel that the best rider will get down under the 8 minutes, because you can imagine that, David, 20 seconds, they got to go faster, 23 seconds faster than Pulte. When you see Rolf Sorensen, who's a very good time trialist, a very good specialist in prologues, still doing 8:31, I think it's difficult that Indurain or any of the top guys can pull off 30 seconds faster.
Okay, you've won your Guinness already. Now we have a bit of fun between the two of us here, and for the Eros Poly coming in here. Of course, some of the teams are having to change their strip, in that the yellow that's been favoured very much by people like Mercato Nuno and the Pulte team there with a lot of green on, they're okay, but these people have to change their strip because of the yellow of the Tour de France leaders jersey. There's been quite a number of teams who have had to move. ZG have also had to change their yellowish strip, so have Mercato Nuno. So we're looking at some new colour jersey, and of course Onse too.
It's a problem for us also, because we're commentating. You've been commentating, Dave, all through the year. You've been seeing the guys from Onse riding yellow jerseys, Netter riding pink jerseys. You see the guys from the Pulte with the yellow and the green. Now it's just green. Like it's even me, like it's I'm just excited that that's a new team. I haven't seen it before, where it's you must appreciate that the Tour de France is yellow, so that there's no confusion whatsoever between the Tour de France yellow jersey and the other teams. The teams and the invited teams into Tour de France must respect the colours and not have yellow anywhere to a majority part of their jersey. Same happened a few years ago with Sean Kelly's team with Sem and Skill, I think it was. Sem Skill with the yellow jersey, where for the Tour de France it brought out to be blue and the shoulders of being yellow. So it is a problem that the commentators have, I think, during the Tour de France, definitely in the first couple of days, because you have to get used to watching these new jerseys again.
And some are still wearing these Dayglow bright colours. Chazelle has always had one of the brightest coloured jerseys in the race. The Lotto team used to be flamboyant like this one as well. There's Cursipu coming through, and he's another superb time trialist.
That's this is a rerun, I think, of it's a rerun on this day, I think it is.
You're right. He was the early leader.
Yeah, he was the early leader.
I thought, sure, I've seen him finish earlier on.
It's incredible. They give us nobody gave us any warning at all. But this rider, this is Philip was just taken up earlier on, I think, because he was.
No, you're wrong. No. Here, it's Casputis, you see. We're jumping around talking about the jersey. Yeah, and it is Cursipu that's coming in now, and Casputis. They both ride for the same team. Here is coming the confusion.
Names very much the same, also. sorry, Dave. Okay. My fault.
Pasqualino. Well, the great French hope a couple of years ago, he did take hold of the yellow jersey, and he was their best place finisher a couple of years ago as well, when he finished in 5th place in 1992. But now he's out on the course. We'll have to see what he's going to do. Cursipu on his way in, not going to challenge the 8:23.81 that we've got of the leader. Camargo for Kelmy. Good to see Kelmy making it into the 21 teams in the Tour de France. Kelmy, again, one of the longest sponsors of a cycle racing team. They're a Spanish shoe manufacturing company, and they've been involved in cycle sport probably longer than most people, or probably just about as long as career, I'd have thought. They've been very consistently in there, sponsoring the riders. They seem to specialise in mountain climbers and Colombians in particular, and Camargo from Colombia goes across the line in 43rd place, and the Colombian commentators upstairs are jumping up and down like noses. Here we go. Eddie Senior, this man being a local rider will be cheered all the way around the course. Remember last year when he won the 4 days of Dunkirk, he did a superb time trial then, and he really made his name last year in the 4 days of Dunkirk, and now he's on home ground. I'm sure if we could take our headphones off, we could hear him going round the course, because the wave of sound is like to follow him all the way through.
Well, Eddie Senior, he won a prologue in the 4 days of Dunkirk last year, and all of a sudden when he won, he thought, well, this is great, now I'm going to win a prologue of the Tour de France. And when he came along to the Tour de France, then you realise that the Tour de France is like no prologue anywhere else. It's not because you're capable of winning every other prologue that you're going to automatically win the prologue of the Tour de France. And he got a bit of a hiding, because he went home, I think, out about it the first week, very disappointed, because he felt that he was a very good rider. He felt that he worth an awful lot more, and he wasn't even getting a look in the Tour de France. So since then he's kind of matured a little bit, and he looks at things a little bit more differently now, so he just tries to do his best now, and he's getting more results, better results. And with the prologue today being here in Lille in his own back garden, I think he will definitely do a very good time. And I know that the team boss, Roger Leger, has been watching putting a very close eye on him over the last couple of weeks in view of this prologue. Also for a second reason, the second reason being, well, hopefully Boardman will be in there within the final check-up today as well. And with the team time trial coming up in 2 days' time before we go on to England, if their riders get very well placed in the prologue and they do a very, very good team trial in 2 days' time, maybe going into England, and maybe definitely for the first week, the team of Gann could have the yellow jersey for a couple of days, and that's very important for a sponsor. Well,
Eddie van Hooijdonk, Eddie Bosberger they call him, twice winner of the Tour of Flanders, just over the line there, but not going to feature in the top 10 at the end of it all. Jalabert on the line, next to go.
Jalabert has come onto form lately. He's won 7 stages in the Tour of Spain, could you imagine?
Tremendous, wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay, there was no really big sprinters there, but still he won 7 stages in the Tour of Spain. And last week he won the final stage in the Tour of the Midi Libre, 6-day stage race. He won the last day, which is an uphill finish. He won it, and for me, he's going very, very well at the moment. He's second or third in the French Champions then the following week. So it's definitely a man to watch in the first week of the Tour de France.
He's going to look, really, though, for the green jersey, and Jalabert must be in looking for the points rather than the overall, surely.
Well, Jalabert, like, is a different situation to Sean Kelly was a number of years ago, where Sean kind of was always going for the yellow and kind of always going for the yellow or for the green, and then trying to go for the yellow he was nearly jeopardising himself for the green. But he won it like 3 or 4 times. Sean won the green jersey. But I felt myself, if Sean had actually maybe given it a little bit more, forgot completely about the yellow jersey and went for the yellow, maybe I think he probably even won a Tour de France.
So Kelly never got the yellow. He just collected a hatful of green jerseys. Jalabert then's got to watch what he's going to concentrate upon. Jalabert can climb reasonably well too. I mean, he's one of those riders who can get over the mountains, more so than Abdou Diafra, who hauls his big stocky frame over the mountains. But Jalabert is not a bad climber either. So you're quite right. He's got to decide what he's got to do.
Well, I think he's not like Sean Kelly. We were talking about Sean. Sean was a great time trialist, a reasonably good climber, and a fantastic sprinter. So Sean could realistically think that he could win the Tour de France. So it was normal that Sean would have a go for the yellow before going for the green, whereas Jalabert is not a good time trialist. So even though people say, well, he's very much the same style as Kelly, the very same build, he's really only a pure sprinter. So Sean actually got the yellow jersey in Pau a couple of years ago, but I feel like he finished 4th in Tour de France in '85 when I was 3rd, I think it was. But I feel myself that maybe in that year of '83 when I was 3rd, he was 4th. If he'd given it 100% for the yellow jersey, he might have even gone being 2nd or maybe even 1st maybe.
Well, here was man revelation last year in the Tour, Bjorn Riis, now changed over to the all-conquering Gewiss Bellan team, who are actually riding this year without the services of Argentin and their young new up-and-coming rider Berzan, winner of the Tour of Italy, not riding with Gewiss Bellan this time. But Riis must be one of their riders they're looking out to do well in this year. Rob Harmeling coming through now, one of the domestics, the hard workers in the TVM team. But I hope we'll pick up Riis later on, because I think we'd like to see a bit of him.
Well, Bjorn finished actually 5th last year in the Tour de France. Yes. He won a stage, he was going very, very well, and it gave him an awful lot of, made him a little bit more ambitious. And definitely for this year's Tour de France, with Berzin not being here, it'll definitely make him feel he has a place on the first few.
Yeah, well, he surprised everybody last year, because of course I think he was a bit freed of his domestic duties in the past, Brian Riis, when he went over and changed teams. That made a whole lot of difference for him. Now, of course, now with the Gewiss Bellan team, but he's probably going to work very hard around Furlan, who's going to be their #1 rider this year in the Tour. And Rob Harmeling 8:59, so he's down in 92nd place. 21 teams of 9 men in each team.
Going back to Furlong again, he had a fantastic early season with Berzin, going through Torino d'Attico,
San Remo. Brilliant.
Fantastic. Then he going to the Tour of Italy. I felt he had a problem in the Tour of Italy. He actually pulled out of the Tour of Italy, and he's in training now for the Tour de France. So it'll be very interesting to see how he goes in the Prologue today, and definitely in the next couple of days. As we have Manin then crossing the line, he's another French rider, as you can understand when you listen to the crowd shouting outside. They're not very, they are French. They applaud. They give much applause to their own riders.
I just wait to hear when Senior comes in to start with. You only hear it across our voices here. So Fidan's on his way through. None of the Italians that we'll be looking, I think, for the odd stage victory.
Another rider riding with two disc wheels. No, sorry, a disc on the back.
No, this one I looked at. This is the bike that Bugno was using in the Tour of Italy. It's got a single down tube going through it and a very triangulated design at the back. It's a bit like sort of a larger version of a woman's shopping bike. We haven't got a side shot of it unless he turned around a bit. But I certainly saw it there being ridden by Bugno for the first time. And I saw it this morning outside the team truck, and I thought it was going to be ridden by Bugno, unless they've got another one replicated now. But Bugno certainly used it in the Tour of Italy. They've got one big thick down tube to it. Most unusual looking bicycle.
Yeah. As we just saw a second ago, we saw Pasqualino, who was the Tour de France leader for 10 days 2 years ago, who hasn't actually confirmed himself. Here's Eddie Senior now.
Inside the final kilometre, Eddie Senior, and
he seems to be going very well. He's giving the impression that he's actually he's going fast, and I think he is going faster. Be very interesting to see now what his time in the last.
Oh, he hit the curb then, Senior. Swung his bike out, riding one of these Lotus machines, lost control, bounced off the curb. Still coming down now with something like about 300 metres to go. Everybody out on their feet. As the man in front of him, he's nearly caught his minute man. He's nearly got Lino. Lino's coming up now, and Senior's not far behind him. What a ride from this man. Here he comes now, and he can see his minute man in front of him. Eddie Senior coming down toward the finish, and that really is going to cause a bit of problems. I think that bounce. I wonder if that's taken out some of the stopping at him when he hit the curb. That was a heart-stopping moment.
Like on this moment, you're always very, very tight. You've got butterflies. It's going. Everything is going so fast. So when you hit the curve, as everyone stands up here in the crowd here, you can't see it on your screens, but we can see it here. It's easy to know the Frenchman is coming along. He's doing a fantastic time, Eddie Senior, at the moment. He's going to be the leader on the board for the moment.
Here he comes then, Senior down the straight. He's going to take the lead, and the crowd are absolutely overjoyed with that one. 8:19.63. Eddie Senior takes the lead, and the whole of Lille erupts.
He's a local boy, maybe that's why everyone erupts. But he has done, even though he may be a local boy, he's done a fantastic time. As a speaker, Daniel Monjas now, as you can see on the rerun here, you see him hitting the curve. Look at that, incredible. He was very lucky the pedal didn't hit the curve.
The bike actually seemed to flex a bit then. It's unusual design, doesn't have anything going down the bottom bracket, and a big fella like Senior seemed to get it flexing then.
It does, but any bike will always move a small bit.
That one went quite a bit then and nearly stopped his heart. But there we are, confirmation then of the overall position at the moment in the Prologue time trial at Lille. The crowd recovering from the tremendous performance by Eddie Senior that's put him way up into the lead, 8 minutes and 19 seconds. Waiting then for Jan Sverard, the winner of 3 stages in the Tour of Italy this year. Another of the men that's come good, getting stronger as the years have gone by. And now without Fondriest in this team, this man must be in with a very good chance of getting the support of the Lamprey riders during the rest of the 3 weeks of the Tour de France.
Well, he went on after the Tour of Italy to win the Tour of Midi Libre 10 days later. So he definitely has the potential in the small stage races.
Well, he's not going to trouble the Prologue time trials, but rocking his head a bit, almost in disgust or desperation. Laurent Jalabert, this is also going to get the French roaring, I suppose, down this finishing straight, although he's riding for the Spanish Once team. All the attention the Once team, though, will be, I think, towards looking after Zuller to see if he can get the yellow jersey. Zuller's promised so much for the times he's turned pro, but just hasn't quite made it. And so the crowd then are going to rise yet again to their feet.
Jalabert is not an actual potential Prologue winner, but he's French.
Yeah,
and he has been around for the last couple of years, doing well in stages and everything else. So the crowd will, of course, give him a standing ovation. Not as much as he gave for Eddie Senior, but Eddie Senior is a local boy. But still, he's put in a time of 8:30.99, which is the 7th place for the moment.
And 7 stage victories in the Tour of Spain this year for Jalabert. I think he'll have a job to make 7 in the Tour of France, where the competition is always greater. In the sprints, he's going to be meeting up against people like Olaf Ludwig, a previous green jersey winner in the Tour de France, and of course the redoubtable Abdou Japarov, who will be searching for that green jersey likewise.
I think the last person to have won so many stages in the Tour, any Tour, or especially the Tour of Spain, would have been Freddie Martins back in the late 70s, because he won something like 7 or 8 stages as well in one Tour, whereas Jalabert this year winning 7 stages was an incredible record, and very difficult to beat. Another Italian rider here now is coming into the finish, Bertoloni. He's a good rider from Carrera, but he's very, very young, and Carrera are kind of a team, rather than take on good riders will have a track record, they're very used to giving young riders a chance, which is very, very good for cycling, and they always have a very, very good image in cycling, and maybe that's why Carrera have lasted so long. with it being now like the track record being 11 years now in cycling.
Well, they did right when they got this young lad in Pantani, who did so well in the Tour of Italy. He just came from nowhere and did those 2 tremendous mountain stages in the middle of the Tour, and everybody's suddenly saying, who the heck is this fellow? Well, he had actually won an amateur Tour of Italy, been second amateur Tour of Italy and third in the amateur Tour of Italy, because the amateur things don't really count in the eyes of many. But they said, who the hell is he? They looked back and found he had got talent,
exactly.
but he hadn't really been allowed to go, and suddenly he went on those 2 days.
But everyone like, well, no matter what you do as an amateur, it doesn't count as you go professional until you actually do what he did in the Tour of Italy. As you have Riis coming in the 5th time with an 8:27, just 7 seconds down on Riis and Seigneur, who are saying he's a rider to watch now in the Tour de France, which confirms it with the time he's just done. But Marco Pantani, like when he finished this year by winning the 2 stages in the Tour of Italy, everyone said, who is this guy? But it's only then everyone says, oh well, that's the guy that won second in the Tour of Italy, who was third in the Tour of Italy, and actually won Tour of Italy amateur 2 years earlier. So then people say, oh well, then he can't be that bad. But like he's very, very light, so to look at him you wouldn't think he'd be a tour rider, because you kind of feel that after 1 week he'd be wasted. But last night I actually had a chat with him, and he was telling me, oh, I feel tired. After the Tour of Italy I had a lot of receptions, and my parents, everyone was congratulating me and having kind of relaxation and everything else, and he said, I don't know if I'm going to be on form, so he hasn't got much confidence for the first week, and we'll see that later on when he comes in for his prologue time. It'll be very interesting to see what time he will do.
Well, coming in now, Raul Alcala for the Motorola team. Won the DuPont Prologue time trial this year when Greg LeMond's in 5th spot, and he's got an 11th spot today then as far as Raul's concerned. First Mexican ever to win a stage in the Tour de France. Vanzella coming in now as well, and we saw Wilfried Nelson starting back down there. Well, he's the Belgian champion. Actually, he's not riding the Belgian jersey. Rather floored me for a minute when I saw him sitting up there. So in the time trial, he's probably got his special Novamel skin suit, and they're going to ride with that one. But
well, you see, the problem is that the champions were only last week. So nobody knows before the championship starts who's going to be the champion. So it means like you only have 4 days between the start of the end of the national championships and the start of Tour de France. So it's always very, very difficult to have a jersey tailor-made for a champion in 4 days. Doesn't matter who you are.
So somebody there is busy stitching up some new jerseys for him. Mind you, though, again, for the sponsor's point of view, it's better very often to have your own jersey, isn't it? I remember when Indurain had the national jersey, they had adapted the Benesto jersey just to put the the Spanish colours a bit stronger on it. But
on the shoulders.
Yeah.
On the shoulders, you know, it's amazing. Like, it was never done for anybody else before. But Mr. Indurain, of course, he said he would do it, or he wouldn't ride any jersey at all. In a way, it's normal, because the national jersey is practically only blank, where you have a sponsor who's paying you. Like, I remember years and years ago, some of the top riders have been told by their sponsors, you know, you get any place you want, but you don't win. Because they felt that we're paying you a name, whether it be Castorama, whether it be Eurosport, doesn't matter what it might be on your jersey. When you become the world champion, you only have it on the front of your jersey. You haven't got it on the sleeves, you haven't got it on the sides, you haven't got the right to do it. Where unfortunately, it doesn't. If your jersey is marked is the world championship jersey, not everybody knows that the world champion is riding for Eurosport or whatever the team might be.
Well, the trials and tribulations of being successful, but at least you get written up a lot if you're a champion. And this Olano is the new Spanish champion, and we're saying that they can't get a jersey in time. He's still riding in his Mapei class jersey and not his national jersey. So we've seen now the national champions of France, of Spain and of Belgium coming through. Jean-Francois Bernard, big battling Bernard himself, tipped at one time as being the French great hope to be the future Bernard Hinault, but now he's working very hard as a domestique for Indurain, but you can never discount him with a chance to go and get a stage victory either. Very, very strong man in the mountains, but he's a big fellow.
He is a big guy, but he looks to be going well there today. It's very interesting to see when his time comes up on the board, but I don't know whether he's going very far, but he's given definitely the impression. And with his track record, like, he is definitely, like, in our generation, he is one of the most classiest riders on the road. But unfortunately, when it comes down to the crunch, he's always missing a little bit upstairs. Like, he always cracks very early.
Yeah, third in the Tour de France in 1987, when they thought this is the man going to take over, because Hinault won the 85 and second 86. Jean-Francois Bernard is now outside the Riis and Seigneur time, but the crowd rising to a grand champion as far as the French are concerned. A very gutsy rider. He's got a lot to do for Indurain. to protect the man against the wind on the flatter stages and in the mountains, to shield him when the competition comes.
I just saw the minute he got across the line, he tore off his hat, because I'm sure it must be like an oven being having it over your head. It must be like an oven. Andreas Baffy he'll not be going in for the stage win today. Andre Baffy, as you can see, I think he's out for a touring spin. Watching there on your screen, but Baffy is really only a sprinter. He won a couple of stages in Trevithick this year. His father was a very good sprinter before him, but Baffy's only here for the sprints.
Yeah. Potting around the course and quite happy then just to exercise the legs. Baffy, I think he won something like about 7 races in about the first 2 weeks of the year. I mean, exaggerating, but he was there every time he picked up the early season. Well, Baffy. He's going around a stage race. He'd win like 3 stages out of the 7 or something. And then, of course, he had that terrible crash with Cipollini, and both of them, in fact, have been suffering from it ever since. And it was said that Baffy had lost a lot of confidence since that crash. Although it's Cipollini who came off worse and is not able to ride the Tour because he's still getting dizzy spells, Baffy seemed to have lost some confidence in that crash as well.
Yeah, Baffy, I tell you now, being a sprinter today, I wouldn't have confidence at all. It's incredible when you see the lads going from one side of the road to the other and pushing and shoving, and I don't know how anybody can be a sprinter. I could definitely have no sprinter, and I've had a very good insurance policy taking it before the sprints.
Thierry Marie underway now, who's made a special job of winning Prologue team time trial in the Tour de France. He won it in '86. He won the Prologue time trial in 1990 and 91 too. As Baffy comes in now, Murray sets up on the course. Thierry Marie, he'll like this particular sort of course. It will suit him. He's a Prologue specialist. Adriano Baffy is not bothered at all. 146 overall. The time he's going to lose is not of any concern to him.
Thierry Marie, Dave, I think, without even seeing his times now, he will do a very, very good time. He's a Prologue specialist. He's been training in the mountains for the last 2 weeks because this is possibly his last or second last Tour de France, because he's getting on a bit now, and he realizes that, well, teams are getting more and more difficult to come by, so he definitely wants to do a good ride here in the Tour de France. If he can win the stage today, or if he can do reasonably well. Castorama is a team who always ride very well in the team time trial, so he maybe can get the jersey on the team time trial on Monday.
Here's another man we're going to see a lot more of too, Abdu Jafarov, the Tashkent Terror himself, the 10-ton tank when it comes to sprinting, on the way round the course.
Going back again to
Murray.
Watching the time of I thought I made a mistake in the time. I thought it was 8, actually 9:16. Go back to Thierry Marie. I was with him there 2 weeks ago down in Font-Rémaux. It's a training camp where the Castorama lads go on altitude, which is 2,000 meters high, and he was training very, very hard down there. It was about 38 degrees, and he was riding a thermo dress jacket on him, and with leg warmers and practically wearing gloves. Like, he was sweating it all out, really training for the Tour de France, because he wants to do really well. Because in his mind, it happened to him a few years ago, he did well in the Prologue, then his team won the team time trial, and he took out the jersey for a couple of days. Whereas any rider who can ride the yellow jersey for a few days is incredible. With that, again, when we come back from Britain, we go into Cherbourg, and Thierry Marie, if you remember, lives near Cherbourg, so he'd be very, very happy if he could come into Cherbourg wearing the yellow jersey.
And of course, Thierry Marie is the man who holds the record for the longest single stage success in the Tour de France, 234 kilometres until Le Havre.
Into his own hometown.
Yeah,
he lives in Cannes.
Amazing that was, and that was the day when all the teammates, Castorama, went across the road a few kilometres to go, and just went wall to wall, just to slow things down. Never seen it before. Then did for a short while because I suppose he cheated a bit, but they all worked to try and slow. And then as he came in, they were almost going. It was an amazing atmosphere, wasn't it, when he won that one? Brilliant.
Normally, when a rider goes for a long break, it's very, very rare that it goes to the end. Normally the riders themselves know how long they can give another rider, and normally you're caught then before the finish. Whereas that particular day, I remember, it was very, very tight, and the Castorama riders did a very, very good job to hold the bunch back. If you can imagine, the whole Castorama team riding in the front, making a wall, so the other riders couldn't get organised. So it was incredible. As we see Greg LeMond now, possibly riding his last Tour de France, but as you know yourself, Dave, you never say never.
No, and he looked so keen this morning. He's riding now, he's talking to journalists, and he was his old chatty self. He looks thin, fit, I was very impressed with Greg, and it depends if his mind will force him onto it, because he's still got a lot to go, hasn't he?
Greg, he will always convince you he's feeling great. He's capable of doing a great time today, the same as he's capable of losing 1 minute. He's the kind of rider who rides an awful lot on morale.
Yeah.
When the morale is up, he can do great things, because you must remember, Greg is a guy who has an awful lot of class. One of the classiest riders of the last decade, maybe. and like, he's still going. Maybe we all say he should have stopped last year or 2 years ago because, well, after winning his last Tour de France, he hasn't been the same since. So, but still, on the other hand, like, Greg wants to go on. He wants to show everybody that he is a great rider and he can be a great rider. So it's we must just kind of wish him the best of luck in this, possibly his last Tour de France.
And the way he's working at his bikes this morning, it was like a kid opening Christmas presents. You know, he was so pleased. Look at little things.
But Greg is a kid.
Yes,
Greg is only a kid. Greg is a. Talking to Greg, you give a mental age. If you're talking politics or talking business, okay, he's very mature, but talking about cycling or anything else, Greg is always a guy who will always kind of have a laugh and joke about anything at all, and always like a mentality of maybe a 15-year-old. Like, he's very, very young that way. He's a very nice guy.
So Frans Maassen coming along now for the Word Perfect team, and Maassen, another of those riders when he comes to the sprint finishes, doing a wonderful lead-out job for his team. But of course they've lost the sprinter Moncassin now, so they have to reschedule their tactics when it comes to the finishing stages on the flat, looking for stage victories, which is probably what they'll be most hoping for. Although of course with Ekimov in the team this year, they could be looking for somebody to get into the top half dozen placings overall as well.
But the riders like Frans Maassen and these guys, they're all riders of another generation. They're finding it more and more difficult now to get to put the nose out. Like, Maassen was the kind of rider who, if you were riding into finish at 70 kilometers an hour, he could take off with about 500 meters to go or 700 meters to go, and all of a sudden he'd be going and nobody would catch him. Whereas he's finding it more and more difficult now to do that kind of a thing. He's an end of a generation where that generation is missing today, because it adds a little bit more spice to the finals. When you see everyone coming in a big bunch and it automatically comes down to a bunch sprint, it's after a while you say, well, you want something new. Whereas riders like Maassens and Jeli Nydams, they were the kind of riders who take off with 500 meters to go or 800 meters to go. They just take off, and the peloton be doing 70 kilometers an hour and they would do 72 and just keep it going to the finish. So same as Francesco Moser would have done years and years ago, or Jerry Knitterman or Jan Raas, these kind of guys. Whereas the new rider today that cannot do that.
Well, that's on the flat stage. Now we're looking about Nelson Rodriguez, who we like to see in the mountains. Another of these Colombian specialists, when the going is hard and it goes uphill. I think we're going to find Nelson Rodriguez in the little groups that are going to be formed in the Pyrenees and in the Alps as well. But Pantani now coming up onto the line again. I don't think he's going to be a very happy man when it comes to a time trial as such, a Prologue time trial over such a short distance. He's just got to try and probably stay in there at the moment, but it'll be interesting to see what sort of time he does, Stephen.
Well, Pantani is a rider who, on this kind of a circuit, he will have 54.12, but not be able to use it, because if they're lucky enough to get a very close-up shot of him later on, he will see his legs like matchsticks, so he can realise that he hasn't got very much power in the legs. So, you know, I'd say he'll possibly lose 30 seconds or 35 seconds to the top guy. It's not a lot, considering it's Pantani, but when you're riding for hopefully getting the yellow jersey, 30 seconds here and 30 seconds there, it all adds up. It's all more time you got to get back in the mountains.
Yeah, I think he weighs about 8 stone or something. I remember looking it up during the Tour of Italy. I had to work it back from kilos into pounds and then back in pounds and stone.
He actually weighs about 52 kilos.
Yeah, I think it's about 8 stone. I did my sums correct. Yeah, very light now, little lad.
Actually, before Pantani went off, Eric Brooking went off. We didn't see him on the screen, unfortunately.
Yeah, Furlan go now, and so Furlan, the hope as far as the Gavis team has gone through a little bit of a bad patch recently, so coming back into form though, probably just at the right time.
As we saw it, Julie Murray didn't even touch the brakes coming around the corner. Just cruised straight around it. It'll be very interesting now to see his time as we come into the last kilometre now. Very, very strong rider. If you remember, a few years ago, he was the first rider to have proved to saddle with the special kind of seat rest on it, where he keep pushing the power out from it.
And Stjezek Tibi coming in, stage victor last year in the Tour after he cracked his skull in the early part of last season, came back and won a stage in the Tour de France. Oh, with a bit of a joke in the pack. In fact, Marie also is known as a bit of a joker and quite a character. Now this one here, another one for the mountains that we're going to see. Mejia will be climbing well for the Motorola team. He just won the Route du Sud. He didn't look too sharp in the Tour of Italy, but now Marie is coming through and the crowd is standing up, 8:19 to beat, and they're urging him on. The local man, Senior, might be beaten, but they'll be still happy to see a Frenchman move up into first spot, and they'll be 1 and 2 if they can do it. Can the French be first and second? On the line, Yes, Marie just takes it from Riis and Seigneur, and the crowd is absolutely overjoyed with this one. They've got Frenchmen first and second, even though their local man Seigneur has been pushed down into second place. Still, they've got nearly 53 kilometres an hour.
Incredible, David. It just goes to show you like the progress that the riders are making. You can say, oh, they have great bikes now and everything else, but the man still has to push the pedals around. So the lads are putting some incredible efforts now into the bikes to get them to go so faster.
It's getting close to 8 minutes dead. well, 18 seconds outside it. Yeah, Marie, that must be the benchmark for everybody now, though. So bad luck for Riis and Seigneur, the local man. But there they are as far as the French supporters are concerned. We've got them in first and second spot. So a wonderful ride there by Thierry Marie, who's been training hard to win this one. Will he do so? Well, we've got a lot more good men coming up. We're going to take a short break. Come back to Eurosport in just a couple of minutes.
Live.
With Farazin coming in now. 8:29 in 10th spot. Thierry Marie 8:18.97. Still the fastest time we've had so far.
During the break we saw
Chamil on the line now. Henri Chamil, winner of the Paris-Roubaix this year in some really rough conditions. It was absolutely diabolical. He splashed his way across the cobbles and came into the finish at Roubaix after some 40-odd kilometres on his own. Now he's got the time trial, the short distance of 7.8 kilometres in this, the prologue at Lille. Eric Breukink, we didn't see him in the start house, but now we see him coming in towards the finish.
We do, like we had hoped he would have been there for up there in the first few, but you can hear the actual roar now from the French crowd there. When they hear the time of Breukink, they're actually happy because they were afraid that Breukink might have beaten one of the local heroes, Thierry Marie. So they're very happy to see that Breukink at least not going to beat Thierry Marie or Riis and Seigneur. But of course after Breukink, there's an awful lot more good riders to come with Boardman, Bugno, De Esquivas, who had a very good Tour of Italy. Who's going very good well at the moment. He's actually French, hoping to do very well here in the Tour de France. As you see, Pantani, you can see the gear at the moment here. He's not riding a big gear. Other riders would have been riding actually the 54-12, but Pantani here, you can see he's pedaling a lot more because he hasn't got the power that the likes of a Bugno or Indurain or Capucci or even Thierry Marie might have. He's possibly riding a 53, possibly 53-30, 53-14 maybe. It's still a big gear as cycling goes, but it's definitely nothing the size of the likes of 54-12, 13 that Indurain will be riding eventually, or even Capucci will be riding later on.
And Pantani then on the course, this revelation from the Tour of Italy. The best time to beat 18.97 for Thierry Marie, and still a lot of top riders yet to come.
You can see his time, Pantani's time is 26 seconds. Yeah. I thought maybe it might be around 30 seconds, but it's actually 26 seconds, so I wasn't far wrong. But he definitely hasn't got the power needed to go well in a prologue, and it's unfortunate because he wouldn't mind winning a Tour de France. He wouldn't mind winning any tour for that matter. But to win any tour, you got to be really good in time trials. But at the same time, like he will do very well, and he will do very well in the mountains. But when you're trying to get rid of Indurain in the mountains, you can only get 30 seconds maybe back at a time, or maybe a minute maybe. But if you're going to lose 25-30 seconds every 10-20 kilometers, it means that you must be very strong in the mountains and be strong every day as well. We now have Charlie Mutti, another golden oldie. Charlie has announced in the start of the season, this is his last year. He wanted to make this season his last to make it good. So far he's doing very well. He won a very classic stage in Paris-Nice this year, the second last stage, a mountain stage, into Mondial Napola. And since then he's been doing very well. It's a very good classic campaign. And now, of course, Tour de France is... he's never won Tour de France. He's never been really to the fore in Tour de France because he's always had a bad day. He's very weak kind of a guy. He's not as strong as you need to be to win a Tour de France. But definitely this Tour de France this year, he wants to make it his last and to make it a good one and to go out on a good note by possibly winning another stage.
Well, he was fourth in 1991, and on that occasion he nearly had a podium place. So Charlie Monte out on the course. Maria Fonto's coming in now. Well, this man we've got to see in the mountains, the revelation of the race last year as well.
As we have Ikimov now on the start. We said Ikimov earlier on was going to do good things here in the Tour de France, definitely in the prologue. It's a prologue definitely for him. As you can see, he looks very much concentrated. But like we said again earlier on, Ikimov, he broke the world hour record a few years ago. Of course, it's been regained again once by Boardman and then again by Aubry. He had got the potential. Everybody thought he had a potential to win a Tour de France and definitely win time trials and prologues and everything else. But in the last 2 or 3 years, he just has not put out the goods necessary to win the prologue or to win the major stages, the major time trial stage in Tour de France, and disappointed a lot of people.
But I think by putting his mind then towards winning some of the classics as such, as he did, I remember he won the Championship of Zurich, and then went on to another classic. So I think he's changed his direction slightly somewhat, recognising that perhaps this year the Duke ones, the longer ones, aren't to his liking.
Well, before he was good in time trials and he was reasonably good in classics. Now he's no longer winning time trials, he's not winning classics either. So if I was himself, I would go back into trying to ride well in time trials, trying to ride well in the prologues, because at the end of the day, prologues and time trials, when you can ride them, you can do much better.
Let's see what he does this year. And Nico Edmonds, Mappé class coming in this combination this year. That is going to be to Rominger's favour to have the combination in Mappé class. Last year when he rode in class, they were a very small team time trial team, and they lost something like about 3 or 4 minutes in the team time trial, which really took Rominger out of contention. But now the Mappé class combination looks like they may do better this time. The team time trial on the coast near Calais in just a couple of days' time will be quite a cruncher.
Well, this year the class Malpé team is actually a combination of Malpé of 93 and class of 93. They've come together to make class Malpé of 94. So they've made us a very good team, recognising that one of their major problems was actually in the team time trial last year. And if Tony wants to win the Tour de France this year, he has to do very well in the team time trial. Definitely not losing time to Indurain. So they've reinforced the team this year with riders like Nico Edmonds, who are normally of little older generation, but very good team riders and very good powerhouses to drive them along in the team time trial.
Combination then of the current standings quickly flashed on your screen. Didn't get time to make it out. It was Terry Marie, Riis and Seigneur, Andrea Perron and Tommy David, and then Eric Breaking in that order. Just 7 seconds separate them, and the fastest time then so far 8:18, and Dr. Mari
not doing as well as we thought he would have been, really, Dave, is he? He was like, he gave an awful lot of promise a couple of years ago on the Tour of Spain when he won it, being a very young rider, just hasn't kind of given up the good sons. As we see Stephen Rooks here at the moment, who is the champion of Holland. Rooks has been a great rider all down the years. There's not very bad luck with teams over the last couple of years, but definitely a very classed rider, and has become a very classic rider, one-day rider. Not so much a tour rider because he hasn't got the ability in time trials, but definitely having a good career.
And Rooks, of course, previous King of the Mountains and very good on the Alpe d'Huez, but it's sort of the stamping ground. And this year we're back at the Alpe d'Huez. We missed it out last year, and I suppose the Dutch are always making their way down there now. They go days so fast.
Well, they call Alpe d'Huez is actually Dutchland for the rival of the Tour de France. You see Franco Chiocci now on your screen. Franco won the Tour of Italy 2 or 3 years ago, and they were saying it's the image of Coppi, if you remember that, Dave.
Yeah, he has that look about him, doesn't he, sometimes, though?
I never saw Coppi.
Oh, I did, but he was my idol, actually. Just showing how old I am.
Everybody's idol, Dave. Coppi was one of the best riders of the last 100 years, though. But Chiocci, since he won the Tour of Italy, he hasn't really confirmed himself. He's won a stage in Tour de France in 1992 in Saint Etienne. As we see, Della Scueva is taking off now.
This is a man then in the day one on the Tour of Italy. Did the fastest time trial there. Was I think over about 10 kilometres. I look back at my notes. He took the big jersey on that ride that day. The 7 kilometres, in fact, his time was 7 minutes 52 seconds over 7 kilometres. Jalabert beat Boardman by 2 seconds. Indurain was 5 seconds back. Castorama had 12. Bunyo had 14 seconds. Give you some idea of that 7th minute time goal and how much Jalabert put in. So that's going to be a very interesting time to watch when he comes in. The course now just 0.8 kilometres longer than one in Indurain, which he rode about 4 weeks ago, the Prologue time goal in the Giro.
Also, the other week when I saw Thierry Mari training down at Fordemo, I also met Armand de las Cuevas, who was training very hard with him down there. So I would expect myself that de las Cuevas should do a very good time today. I have Gianni Bunyo. This is no stopping now. All these big guys now are coming on the screen now. It's getting more and more exciting. Even myself commentating here beside you, Dave, it's getting, my blood is starting to flow. I'm starting to get butterflies now.
Well, this man's an enigma too, isn't he? He's got so much talent, but he's now switch off the screen quickly. Come back to Carito, who you were mentioning earlier on for the Chanel team.
It's amazing. You see these riders, you want to say so much about them because they deserve, each and every one of them deserve to be a little story to be told about every one of them. But now you get so many of the top riders coming on the screen, it's difficult to go into depth. But as you say, here in Eurosport, we're here for 22 days, so we'll have plenty of time to talk about everybody else.
Well, I want to say to you watch, by the way, Bunyo's just gone. The long starts 1 minute after Bunyo, so he is now in the start house, and Boardman is about to start about 1 minute after, about 2.5 minutes to go. 1.5 minutes to go, just wait until I recalculate. Half minute to Blanc, 1 minute to Boardman after that. So we've got about 1.5 minutes till Boardman gets into the start house.
Well, hopefully we'll see a lot more of Boardman on the stage, as we see Luc Leblanc getting ready to take off now. But Boardman being the specialist and being the favourite for the stage today, maybe we might see more on the screens. It'd be very interesting for us today to commentate if we can see Boardman, because we might also get a good look at the circuit.
Well, we hope they send a motorcycle round with him, and I think there's a fair chance they might do that, because of course he's riding for a Ghana French team. It's an insurance team. He's also got a contact in England with another insurance company called General Portfolio, and they're doing a lot actually to promote the fact that Boardman's riding. So a lot of non-cyclists are going to be involved in coming down to see the Tour. I think very much because Boardman's riding, other companies are getting behind it, which is going to be good for the sport in England.
It's great having a Tour de France going back to England after 20 odd years. The Tour de France is an incredible event, and England, of course, has never, even though England is not very far from France, it's Tour de France is something extraordinary, and so many people will travel. So many will travel to see Boardman, but so many people will travel alone just to see the Tour de France.
Here he is now on the line, the Olympic champion then, Chris Boardman, who just 12 months ago broke the hour record at the Bordeaux track during the Tour de France. There he goes on an unusual Lotus bicycle, winding up that big gear. All interest will be on the time of this man, now setting off on his 7.8 kilometres.
As you see the finish of Charlie Mutti coming in now. The French, of course, rise to the occasion. Even though Charlie may not do a fantastic time, he should do a reasonably good time, but I wouldn't expect him to be doing a fantastic time. But Charlie is a very, very much liked rider here in France.
And a cheerful chap, his wife said he's always optimistic. Well, we just give him the best of luck for the rest of the tour, and hope he finishes in a jolly good place. And Charlie now coming along, the crowd getting bigger and bigger. They're pouring in. The grandstand's a bit empty earlier on when we started with a 189 rider. They didn't all sit in the breakout sun, but they now filled all the seats. And Charlie Mutti getting a standing ovation from this crowd.
Even though Charlie has finished well up in Tour de France a couple of years running, he hasn't actually finished all his Tour de France because of him being so weak health-wise. Like he often has a very bad day and sometimes gets blown out in the mountains. So hopefully this being his last Tour de France, we wish him all the best. Hopefully he can win a stage and hopefully even finish.
So Pavel Tomkov on his way round, and here then Ekimov, that crouch position and determination. Actually, what I'd suggest you do is look at some of these top riders, half the time, see how their crouch position is. When you look at Boardman, he's got a very flat back. Here this man is also first class maturity. He's been amateur and professional pursuit champion of the world. He can only manage 6th place for Ekimov at the moment.
Ekimov and Boardman are the same school. It's the same, they've both been Olympic champions. They both held the hour record. So it's normal they have roughly around the same position, even though I prefer the position of Boardman to the position of Ekimov. It's much more aerodynamic, I find.
Well, they did a lot of work in the wind tunnel as Zula now starts to go. Before the Olympic Games, the Lotus people took him to their wind tunnel. They had that facility, and Mike Burrows, who helped design the bicycle, they did a lot of work on the bike as well, and they work on his position too. They found a few extra seconds in the way they put him on the bike. But he rides his elbows much closer together than most other people, flattens his back and tips he came along with an even more unusual position, that was the best beliefs to be. But not everybody can ride like that. They don't seem to be able to breathe.
Well, I'm sure, like, with as I say, which has actually been proved, that even by wearing this crash helmet, as we see Giotto having at the moment, that is actually more beneficial than actually having a disc wheel on the front. You save, it sends the air down over your shoulders, where they found it's much more beneficial aerodynamic-wise than having an actual full disc wheel in the front.
We will see him going to stage victories, I'm sure. Here he is now, the little devil himself, close over that fantastic crash out. That's a most marvellous piece of paintwork, and underneath it, one of the great campaigners, a great character, and we're looking forward to seeing what he can do. Always there, but he just doesn't control his emotions.
Exactly. If you can actually read on his hat there, you see El Diablo. El Diablo in Italian means the devil, as you're saying, Dave. But he's an incredible character. He loves, like, last year I was riding along with him, and everyone was saying, Ali, El Diablo, El Diablo. And he says, Stephen, you see that? Nobody knows Capucci anymore. Everyone calls me El Diablo. Like, he takes so much pleasure out of it.
Well, here Ludwig coming down, the telecom rider, searching really for the green jersey in stage victories and high points finishes in each of the planet stage yet to come. The tour is like a big book that unfolds. The early part of it, we have the flat stage, then we hit the mountains, and the riders we haven't seen come through. We're going to see a lot of this man, though, in the next 2 days. Ludwig hitting the line, the ex-Olympic champion, 8:31.
But Ludwig will definitely be to the front in the first few stages, the flat stage. Ludwig, Jalabert, Baffy, these guys have to be there in the first few stages. Otherwise, when you get to the mountains, they'll be getting wiped out, and they'll be in the, as what they call the autobus.
Okay, Pierre Trugamov on the line now. Second in the Tour of Italy last year. Right the pants off Indurain on the final stage or so. They remember that up on the mountain. It just showed enormous power. And Trugamov did do so well this year in the Tour. He was Tour of Italy. He was just there or thereabouts. I think they've just kept him in reserve for the Tour de France. We're going to see a lot sure of Pierre Trugamov. On the older ride, I think about 33, 34 now, but a very seasoned campaigner from the what used to be behind the Iron Curtain. On his way through now then, Stephen Rumps looking for, I'm sure, the Alpe. It looks like he might be getting caught on it. Those foreshortens in the
Well, it's still a Squivas. That's normal. That's normal, Dave. When the still a Squivas is catching in rocks, and it's not something which is not normal. This is normal. But still, it doesn't mean he has done a great time. But I feel, looking at him now, sprinting for the line, I'm sure he's done a good time. Unfortunately, we haven't got the times here, but for the moment.
Well, he's got Brooks in his sight then, the man who won the 7 km endurance. And look at that time now. This is going to be the one to go for, and it's going to be near the magic 8 minutes as well. The French are riding to Armand Delas favours. He was the ex-French champion. Now he's showing his superb time-trial instinct. He won the opening prologue in the Tour of Italy. Now he looks like he's going to take the lead in the 1994 Tour de France prologue appeal. And the interline is
incredible.
3.38 seconds. Hermes de la Cuevas takes the lead, and will he take the yellow jersey? Remember, out on the course, there are a lot more very good specialised time trialists out there. Boardman's out there. Indurain is yet to go. Rominger's no slouch. He's out there yet to go. The pace is hottening up.
That's an incredible time by this Cuevas. Like, I know he's an incredible rider. You see Jenny Bunyo here. I think he's out on a morning stroll, going around the corners. Delas Cuevas is in his element here in the prologue. He's a great time trialist. He's shown it in the past, and beating Thierry Mari by 5 seconds is no mean feat, because Thierry Mari himself being an incredible time trialist, and definitely, as you said yourself earlier on, Dave, he won the prologue here in the Tour de France 2 or 3 times before. So beating Thierry Mari in the prologue here in the Tour de France is incredible.
There was confirmation then that he's got into the lead. 8 minutes and 13 seconds. Thierry Mari back 5 seconds in arrears.
2 minutes to go now for Indurain, 1 minute to go before we have the start of Tony Rominger taking off. So the Tour de France now is really getting to a boil. I'm sure Rominger now, I'm sure he has more than butterflies now in his stomach. I'm sure he knows now this Cuevas has done this incredible time, and he knows this is time to beat.
And the times will, of course, be flashed back to them down there in the start out. We also missed Lance Armstrong, the motor rider, was not shown on our screen. He's out on the course now as well. Gianni Bunyo comes down here. This will be disappointing rise for us. Bunyo was 14 seconds down in the Giro over 7 kilometres. He's a lot more down on Delas Cuevas now. So Bunyo has not given that in all.
Doesn't even look to have been trying even. Like, normally when you finish a time trial, we started Delas Cuevas finishing. As you see Tony Rominger looking very, very concentrated. Tony now knows the time that Delas Cuevas has done. He wants to be in there. Like, he's not really worried, I'm sure, about too much about Delas Cuevas. What he wants to do is to beat Indurain. But with Indurain starting off behind Rominger will have all the time. Oh, is Boardman coming on?
And he's catching the ball. He's nearly got his minute back. We have not seen this before in the
look at the power. It's a real powerhouse there. Power.
Phenomenal, isn't it? And remember the time to beat 8 minutes 13 seconds. Chris Boardman beginning to catch up to LeBlanc. This is phenomenal. I can't remember anybody being caught in a prologue time trial.
Especially 7 kilometres, Dave. 7 kilometres only.
Oh, he's got his man already, and look, LeBlanc is he doesn't hang about either.
No, look, LeBlanc is look LeBlanc sprinting to hold his wheel, and he can't even catch him. Incredible, incredible.
7:45. He might still be inside 8 minutes, and he could take Jalabert. Boardman's going right now. Look at that 7:49. This is the time Indurain's got to beat 7:49 to keep that yellow jersey. We're in for a great battle.
I've lost a beer, Dave. I've lost a beer. Incredible. I never ever would have thought. Even Boardman, I thought he was great. I never thought he would ever do a time so good. Like beating Jalabert, who done a fantastic right by 15 seconds. More than 15 seconds is incredible. Indurain, you know, down the gauntlet.
We are speechless.
That's something when Dave is speechless. No, Boardman, that's an incredible ride. You know, like we thought Boardman was going to do very, very well, even win the time trial maybe, but we never would have thought he was putting so much of a gap into the likes of Jalabert. But now we must see the time of Rominger and the time of Indurain. Maybe they can get in between Jalabert and Boardman. Maybe even beat Boardman. It's not over yet.
It's not, but
it's full of surprises, this Tour de France.
It's so far, it hasn't been tremendous. That benchmark set by Jalabert is 8 minutes 13. Here comes confirmation on your screens now. That's history being made as far.
24 seconds, Dave. 24 seconds in front of Jalabert is something just incredible.
Look at the rest. Marie's just 5 back, then 1 second, then something else. The rest are just sped by 1 second. He's done 24 seconds faster.
It's not. You can say, well, he's on a great bike, but it's not only the bike. The man himself, like, has done an incredible ride today.
Well, if he does this and takes yellow jersey, it's the first time since 1962 that the Brit has worn the yellow jersey. My good friend Tommy Simpson wore the yellow jersey that year. Also took a jersey in 1962. Rudy Alting in 1962 with our co-commentator of Eurosport took the green jersey. He was gone to win 8 stages in the Tour de France. So that was history way back in 1962. We've never seen history yet with Boardman, so I keep my fingers crossed. We can't predict anything yet because out on the course, Rominger and Indurain, 2 of the world's greatest time trials, and we mustn't dispute either that Lance Armstrong can go very quickly indeed if he puts his mind to it. We've not seen him at all on our screens so far, but the American world champion is pretty quick as well. So there's still a lot more decent riders out there, and here we see now that in fact Zulla's outside Boardman's time, so he can breathe again as far as he can serve his Zulla.
This is a great thing for Boardman. Like we were all saying earlier on, that it'd be great to see an Englishman going into England with the yellow jersey. And if Boardman can put so much time, even 10 seconds, a very good time also for Zul, second time. And we're always saying Zul hasn't had a good year this year. But as I was saying, Boardman can do a great time, like he did, as we see here now at the moment. If he can get a maximum of time in front of the likes of Indurain and Rominger, he's a great chance of coming through the team time trial well on Monday and going into England with the yellow jersey. What a fantastic day it will be for English cycling.
Well, we're keeping our fingers crossed because there's still a lot of fast men to come. Jalabert here, not one of the world's greatest prologue time trialists, will be riding around here, giving all he's got as usual. He's got another mouth to feed now, hasn't he? His wife, little daughter Samantha.
Well, you get the feeling that Capucci, since his wife had a child, he's calmed down an awful lot. But unfortunately, he's still 32 years of age, and he's spent an awful lot of energy over the last couple of years just showing off and riding off the front, doing stupid things sometimes, but sacrificing maybe good results for showing off, for the cinema as we call it here. But you know, he's a great rider. He's given an awful lot to cycling over the last couple of years, and without Capucci over the last 2 or 3 Tour de France's, I think cycling and Tour de France would have been dead.
So Capucci, everybody's favourite then. His time doesn't really matter. The crowd are just happy to see him here. Big competition. They know they're going to see him in the mountains, and he gets an applause if he's running, but he hasn't. He's making 6th spot, which isn't bad at all.
It's not bad. You see he's 32 seconds down, but you must remember it's 24 seconds between the first and second rider. So it's a very good rider. If you just look, we got a quick glimpse at Capucci's number there, 51. If you remember, Dave, 51 is a very famous number. Merckx won the Tour de France for 51, and also Bernardino won the Tour de France with number 51.
Yes, very famous number indeed. And Rominger, we're following around most of the course, this man, who is also an extremely good time trialist indeed. He finished 14 seconds down on Indurain at the Guido last year over a 6.8km course, and I think he's been determined. He's got to wait to do some specialised training as Indurain comes in here for Gavis. Not an older rider with a lot of guts going for him, and I think we're going to see him battling as well up in the mountains. but there we are, probably around about inside the top 10 on the door with a ride like this. It's going to be very respectable in the early part of the race, which means the fast end come then, and what's that get him 9 spots. What do you think, mate?
Not bad. Well, Rominger, here's Lance Armstrong now. We haven't seen him for the rest of the stage. He seems to be going okay, but I don't think he's capable of actually going anywhere near Boardman, I don't think. Possibly up in the first 5, first 6 places, but he hasn't got the power.
The first time we've seen the world champion now, Lance Armstrong, who rode this race to the halfway point last year and then was sensibly pulled out of it. How sensible they wear the motor on the team, because he went on to win the World Championships in Oslo. He's wearing the World Championship jersey now. Lance Armstrong, another of these runners who can take an opportunity and make people really hurt.
Well, last year he won a stage in the Tour de France by taking the opportunity, taking the bull by the horns. He did a great move last year when he pulled out of the Tour de France. Everybody was saying, oh, you should go on for the experience. But he knew better. He pulled out, prepared himself well for the World Championships and won the World Championships. He's doing a good time, Dave.
Yeah, so he's another one that's throwing it down the gauntlet to stay inside the top 10 places. Armstrong wants to be up there on the leaderboard. What he's got his best performance. I don't think he's born into the sport by triathlons, well, it's a time trial over longer distances, not the shortest of. And here we're out on the course with big old Indurain, who won the Prologue time trial last year. He won the Prologue time trial the year before. And by winning it last year and the year before, keeping the yellow jersey on his shoulders. This year, he's got to win to keep that yellow jersey, otherwise it goes possibly to Boardman. We have to wait and see, because Rominger is
incredible style, Dave. Incredible style. Like Boardman was great, but he is great. He's a pursuiter. Normally he looks great, but Indurain being an all-round rider, and when you see him just powering along on the bike, it's incredible. Like you imagine he has 54.12 on, like Pantani had 53.13 because he couldn't turn anymore. But Indurain has 54.12. As you see Rominger coming on a corner without even braking, Dave.
Well, Rominger, much smaller rider than Indurain, but it's still a very good time trial.
Still has.
And they switched off from seeing him. We're going straight in towards Indurain, and he's coming down the finishing straight. Let's hope the particular one, but have to look up on the screen here at commentary point and see what's happening there. Because you keep an eye on the time up there.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on what happens down there. Because this is what could be to go for Indurain. For some reason, we're not picking Rominger up at the moment, so we're staying with Indurain.
Rominger, he looks to be going so strong as well, so fast. He gives the impression all the time to be going so fast. But the time is 7:54 so far. It's going to be a 8. Yeah, it's not a fantastic time.
Well, the second time is still is 8:11. 8:11 is going to be second. It looks like he's going to take second spot. He does. Rominger moves into second at 8:08. There's only one more rider coming.
Indurain is sprinting, Dave.
It's only Indurain to beat. The time of 7:49 is the one to beat. And can Indurain do it? This is the only man left that can take the yellow jersey off the shoulders of Boardman. That's going to be close.
Incredible.
And he might keep that yellow jersey. He's got some 20 seconds to do it in.
Watch the incredible Indurain. The power, look at the energy he still has left. It's incredible, Dave.
He's still powering away. He's got some 10 seconds to do it. And the crowd here absolutely rising to their feet. A second to go, 46, 47, 48, 49. And the yellow jersey goes to Chris Boardman. And history has been made in Lille today as England takes the first yellow jersey since Tom Simpson in 1962. And Indurain looks like he's going to take a strong second place behind him. The crowd rise to their feet, but the difference then is 14 seconds, and that is significant.
That's incredible. Like Indurain has done a fantastic time. He's done his normal time, I think. But Boardman is just being super. It's an incredible ride. It's really goes to show that when a man and machine can become one, the difference you can really do in a time trial.
There is the result for you to look at to savour your good evening, Great Britain. I'm sorry for the Spanish and the Swiss.
I'm sure you are, Dave. You're a liar. Don't be telling lies, Dave. You're as happy now, Dave, as the French were when this wave was won a few hours ago.
Boardman then up in first spot for Great Britain, and for his team at Gan, they'll be delighted with that one. I'm sure nobody more delighted than Greg LeMond, for instance, to have that happen.
Well, Gann haven't had a great season this year. Boardman has possibly saved the season, even early on when he won a couple of prologues early on in the season. And now that Boardman has won the yellow jersey and taken over the yellow jersey in the Tour de France, and I think myself personally, I don't want to talk too soon, but I think if the Gann team get their act together, there's a great chance that Boardman will have this yellow jersey when he arrives in England next Monday.
And if everybody goes down to watch it, the South East of England will sink under the strain, I suspect.
Well, all I can do is that the more people come down, the better. It'll help Boardman. It'll carry him. Even normally, as you know, when a rider is wearing a jersey, he kind of goes over his normal limits. Whereas if Boardman goes over his normal limits when he's in England, he might even have the jersey for a week, 10 days maybe, right down to Bordeaux. Can you imagine, Dave, an Englishman having the yellow jersey from the start right through England, back into France again?
Well, Bordeaux really would be a great place to go to, because that's where he broke the hour record in the Tour de France last year. That's when the French first got to know about him. Apart from his Olympic gold medal, which they knew about, that was on the track. Suddenly, we have him in the world hour record, breaking the one that we set up Albury before, and suddenly everybody in France knew about this man, Boardman. The crowd then moving towards the presentation of the victor's prize for the day here, the Prologue time trials at Lille. Also then the yellow jersey to go to the victor of the Prologue time trial. That will be handed over to Chris Boardman, the Gann rider from Britain, who set a cracking time of 7 minutes and 49 seconds to beat a very, very starred, big-studded field. So we're going to say goodbye from you here. Sorry we can't bring you the pictures of the yellow jersey being presented. For myself, David Duffield, and Stephen Rhodes.
Rijden we